Welcome into the Kansas City Chiefs Report. I'm your host, Harrison Graham, back with another video. We got some rumors on Overreaction Monday to get into on today's show. After a bizarre win for the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, 22-16 over the Denver Broncos, Harrison Butker, 5 field goals in the win. Lots to unpack here. I saw something I've never seen before involving Tyreek Hill. We'll break that down later on. I have a feeling you guys know what I'm talking about there. But ultimately, the Chiefs do what they do. When it comes to winning time, they make the plays they need to. The defense stepped up last night. 2 picks for Honey Badger, so that was good to see. And ultimately, another victory. I hope this team can play 60 minutes at some point, but as of now, they just keep winning. Grade the Chiefs win over the Broncos, A, B, C, D, or F. I'm honestly at like a C-. That's what I tweeted last night. The offense has to fine-tune some things. I thought the defense made enough plays to win, but Denver did run the ball well, especially with Melvin Gordon. C-. Good enough to win. Not good enough against playoff-caliber teams, but it just seems like the Chiefs play good enough to beat whoever they're playing, regardless of the caliber of opponent. Flirting with fire there, especially come playoff time, but hopefully they can put some things together over the next few weeks and play a full 60 minutes. Now, one of those issues, especially last night and really the past couple of weeks, going back to that Bucs game as well, that should have been a blowout, is the red zone offense. The Chiefs were 0 for 4 in the red zone on TV touchdown conversion. Now, they did get 4 field goals in the red zone, so they didn't go scoreless, but you got to finish some drives. And look, I love Andy Reid. I love Eric Bieniemy, and I'm not going to be the fan or the guy that celebrates when they do a funky play in the red zone and it goes for a touchdown, and then when they try a different one, it doesn't work. I'm not going to be that. But there's something to say that sometimes they get a little too cute. Like, it's 3rd and goal at the 1. Why are you running like a weird jet sweep reverse to Tyreek Hill? Just pound the ball with Lev Bell or do a quarterback sneak. You don't have to do anything fancy there. You look at the offense as a whole, moving the ball was not an issue last night. Almost 450 yards, over 7 yards per play. Good on 3rd down, no turnovers, but you got to score. You got to get 6 in the red zone. You can't constantly kick field goals. 0 for 7 dating back to that Bucs game that, again, should have been a blowout, but they couldn't finish those drives and get 7 points on the board. Like, I'm not super concerned, but I also want to see improvement in that area. Just, find Travis Kelce in the red zone. You don't always have to run, some crazy play where Travis Kelce takes the snap and throws it to somebody or something like that. Can get cute sometimes, but don't have to do it all of the time. Now, I'm not overly concerned, but how concerned are you guys about the red zone offense? I will make this pinned comment on today's video. You guys scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being not concerned at all. This is the best red zone offense in the NFL. Fake news. It's not true. 10 being I'm in shambles. This offense isn't going to figure it out. I'm like a 3 or a 4. I'm not super concerned, but it's got to be better against high-level opponents like the Saints next week. You got to finish drives, so let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Travis Kelce just continues to ball out at a very, very high level, extends his 1,000-yard streak to 5 straight seasons. This is continuing to be historic. No other tight end has done it for more than 3 seasons in a row. He's doing stuff that we just haven't seen before. Travis Kelce is having a monster season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at what he's done in 12 games. Just under 100 yards per game there with 1,114 yards. He's got 8 touchdowns. I believe he leads the NFL in yards after the catch for a tight end. And that's also a guy who plays with Tyreek Hill. Think about that. Kelce, number 1 in the NFL in yards after the catch. He's having a fantastic season. Now, obviously, Kelce, a tight end in general, is never going to win an MVP, but Offensive Player of the Year? Mina Kimes thinks so. I thought this was a good point she made last night, that Offensive Player of the Year is kind of a goofy award, which it is, because shouldn't the MVP probably win that as well? Probably, but the NFL tends to give it to a position player. Travis Kelce is as valuable and as good of an offensive player as there is in the National Football League. And honestly, the Chiefs have the top 2 guys outside of Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And yeah, he's having a fantastic season, one of the best we've ever seen from a tight end. He's been doing it for half a decade now. More on Kelce in a minute, but first, want to get going with BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Like, the Chiefs against the spread kind of having a weird year. It's been up and down in that regard, but just bet the money line each week. They win every single game just about. So go to chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Get that 125% deposit bonus when you use promo code Chiefs125. Make some money the rest of this NFL season and on into the NBA season as well by going to chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Now, just to kind of maximize how great and exclamate how good Travis Kelce's been, he's 5 yards behind DK Metcalf for the league lead in receiving yards. This is a tight end. Like, Travis Kelce is having an unreal year. Oh, by the way, Tyreek Hill's number 3. He's all right, too. And he might be number 1 if that play was called a catch last night. More on that in a minute. But Kelce is just what we see from this guy on a week-to-week basis. The consistency is unreal when teams play too deep, so Tyreek Hill can't get behind him. You can't guard Kelce. It's like 15-yard completion after 15-yard completion. Had 136 yards again last night on 8 catches. He's just ridiculous, and he's only 31 years old. Like, right now, he's number 10 in NFL history among receiving yards for tight ends. He's got a chance to get number 2 or 3. I don't think he can catch Tony Gonzalez, but because he's a little less than halfway there. But he is having a phenomenal career and a monster season for Kansas City. Is Travis Kelce the best receiving tight end ever? I won't say overall, but receiving tight end ever. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Don't think we're there yet, but 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. I know the NFL is changing, but, he's up there. You got Gronk, you got Gonzalez, Antonio Gates. You could throw Jason Witten in that conversation, but Kelce's right there. Like, prime Travis Kelce, I will take for a pure receiving tight end. Probably over anybody. Shannon Sharp maybe is in the conversation, but Y for yes, N for no, I think it's a good argument to have. Before we move to some Tyreek Hill stuff, subscribe to the Chiefs Report. If you want more videos, just hit that sub button. We're doing about 4 or 5 videos a week. I want daily shows, and I'd love to do a live show once per week once we get enough subscribers, but we need more of you to subscribe to get there. About 10,400 subs. Let's get to 11K. That's our next milestone. So hit that big red button and subscribe. We cover the latest Chiefs news, rumors, do post-game shows, all kinds of stuff just for you guys. Speaking of Tyreek Hill, this is the new Dez caught it. It's Hill caught it because I don't know if I've ever seen a play before. In fact, I know I never haven't, in which a receiver didn't argue that he caught a ball. In fact, he said that he didn't catch the ball. But after replay, we all saw he did catch that deep ball from Patrick Mahomes. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just search Tyreek Hill on Twitter or on Google. It'll pop up within seconds. One of the weirdest plays ever where Mahomes threw it to him. He tried to high point it. Ball bobbled in the air, and then he landed on his back with the defender in his face. Couldn't see it, and the ball lands in his arms. He just assumed it had been on the ground, but he actually caught the ball. Here's Andy Reid on not challenging the call because everybody's like, why is he not challenging it, including me? Everything happened so fast. Here's what Reid said. I'll take the blame for that one. I've never had a receiver that didn't know he caught the ball. Came off and said he didn't catch it. I probably should have hung on to that a little bit longer to look at the replay. I've been doing this a couple of years. I've never had that situation. It was a new experience. And if you look at this photo here, this is a perfect still shot. The ball, it never hits the ground. And if you watch the full replay, it never hits the ground. One of the more bizarre plays I have ever seen, and definitely the best catch of all time that wasn't ruled a catch. Like, that was wild for what we saw on that play, and the Chiefs just sent their punt team out there and punt it before they challenged, and just a weird sequence. Luckily, it didn't bite them in the you-know-what, but yeah, what a bizarre play. I thought this was funny, too, from Patrick Mahomes after the game. He said, man, you're so good at receiver that you don't even know when you catch touchdowns these days. And it's so true. How many times do we see NFL wide receivers plead to their coaches, I caught it, I challenge it. Then you look at the replay, it's like, dude, the ball skipped off the turf. Everybody in the freaking stadium and at home watching on TV could see it. Tyreek Hill catches a ball and doesn't even know he caught it and doesn't even argue that he caught it. Such a weird situation. Plus, he had another touchdown callback later in the game. He'd probably be the leading receiver if those two things hadn't happened. But, hey, he's number 3 in the NFL. He's doing just fine. Now, he could have had a bigger game, so let's give him some love. Spam the cheetah leopard emoji there. It looks I think technically it's a leopard, but we're going to call it the cheetah emoji here. Just spam cheetah in the comments. If you don't have emoji keyboard, A, I don't know what you're doing. It's 2020. But B, just type cheetah in the comments. Let's give him some love. Tyreek Hill should have had one of the greatest catches of all time, but it didn't count because the refs didn't see it, Tyreek didn't see it, and the Chiefs didn't challenge it. Give him some love. Last one here, and this is more just something I want to gauge you guys' interest on. I'm not going this far, but there's some chatter from Chiefs fans and NFL fans in general that maybe Le'Veon Bell is washed. Maybe he's not, Pittsburgh Lev Bell. And look, when they signed him, I made it clear to you guys. I was like, look, The Jets are a mess, but some of this is on Le'Veon Bell. He is not the same player he was in his peak prime Pittsburgh days. Look, when it comes down to it, when he sat out that season, he lost a step. There's no doubt about it. Now, I don't think he's completely washed, but we saw an extended version of Bell last night because Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not play. He was active, but did not play because he was sick all week. And Bell was not that impressive. He looked slow to me. I think he's effective as a receiving back still, but he had 11 carries for 40 yards. Like, Le'Veon Bell was not very effective as the primary back. In fact, Darrell Williams was much more effective for Kansas City last night. I thought Darrell Williams played much better than Le'Veon Bell did overall. It's just, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve snaps. I'm not saying he's not a guy that can help you out a little bit here, but 3.5 yards per carry, I get that Broncos defense is good, but Darrell Williams came in and gave you 38 yards on 6 carries for over 6 yards per rush on that one. So, look, Lev Bell, here's my main point on this. If there was any debate about Le'Veon Bell and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that's over. Like, Edwards-Helaire is this team's starting running back. He needs to be this team's main running back moving forward. I think the Chiefs should actually put Bell in the slot and let him play a little slot receiver. He might be more effective in that role than as a pure runner because they really haven't explored him as a receiver that much. 2 catches, 15 yards yesterday. And again, like I said, Darrell Williams ran better, which, limited sample size, 6 for 38 there, but maybe the Lev Bell experiment. I'm not saying it's been a failure, and it was no risk. I mean, they signed him for cheap, and he's been a team-first guy. He's been saying all the right things. But if we thought Le'Veon Bell was going to come in here and be, all-pro Lev Bell, I didn't think that in the first place. But if there was any hope of that, that is dead. He is not that guy anymore. Now, I don't think he's completely washed, but he ain't what he was. So I'll let you guys decide. Is Le'Veon Bell washed? Type yay if he is. Type nay if he is not. I don't think he is, but Lev Bell is like 60% of his peak self. Like, he's still good enough to be in a running back rotation, but he can't be a number one pure peak running back. Like, we have seen that from him. He is not that anymore. So there you have it. Some of my thoughts after this game and some, rumory news type of items coming after Week 13. Chiefs get it done, 22-16 over the Denver Broncos. And look, this Chiefs team, when they play their best, I still think is pretty close to unbeatable. Got to be more consistent, though. Like, that game should never be in – not that it felt in doubt, but the Denver Broncos did get the ball back down 6 with like a minute to go. They had a chance to win the game, and that should never happen against Denver at home. I'm sorry. Denver's not there right now. They're banged up. Drew Lock is kind of a mess at quarterback. They've got some holes on that team. Producer Sam is cussing in my ear because he's a Broncos fan, but he knows it's true. The Chiefs need to clean some things up. You got a good opportunity this week because you play the Dolphins on the road and then the Saints in Week 15. 2 good teams coming up. So good chance to showcase how good you actually are to not only win, but win impressively as well. The last 2 weeks, Kansas City has snuck by, and they both should have been blowouts, but they weren't. So got a month to figure it out. I still think this team is the favorite to win the Super Bowl, but don't you guys just want to see a 60-minute performance? That's all I'm asking for. I don't know if I've seen one all year outside of maybe the Baltimore game. So we'll see. 4 more games and then the playoffs. So, by the way, cheer for Washington tonight. Steelers, Washington. Take advantage of that. Check that out. If the Steelers lose, Chiefs get that number 1 seed. I'm Harrison Graham signing off. We'll see you guys very, very soon.